it's always doing this to me.
It always just decides on random days to like switch off the sound. So thank you guys for being here with me. Yeah, I fixed it. GM. Good morning, David. Good morning, Beagle. Good morning, Wild Africa. Thanks for the heads up. Annoying, but like I said, on random days, the OBS software just decides to not pick up my microphone anymore. So here we have it. We can see point blank, as I was saying, that total crypto market cap here has broken out from this minor bull flag that we've been in for the last 2 or 3 months. And right now it is testing the upper range of this downtrend that we've been in on the total crypto market cap from last year, late last year, early this year. The goal here is to break out of this decisively, have a little bit of a retest down low, and then break out and go to new all-time highs for the crypto market. You can also see point blank on Bitcoin, we've already seen the retest. So it broke out of this, hit brand new all-time highs by like $1 yesterday, but today we are holding strong. This is a very clear pattern where we get those hammers, right? You shoot up out of a breakout, you get a day or two of consolidation, and then you continue the move much, much higher and much more rapidly. One thing I want to showcase to you guys is the global liquidity. Now, I enjoy looking at the global liquidity over the total crypto market cap rather than just Bitcoin, because I think it is a little bit better of a representation of what's going on, just because Bitcoin's not the only thing in the market. One of the things that everyone's overlaying is total liquidity with Bitcoin to indicate that Bitcoin is somewhere in this region, but just lasting a little bit longer here with the consolidation. I disagree with that sentiment. I believe that we are actually down here in this region, just having a bit longer of a consolidation period, because if you look at global liquidity, and line up kind of the peak to trough here, you'll see that it lines up pretty perfectly with the global liquidity offset by that 3 or 4 months. Now, what happens next? Massive rallies in all equities. Massive rallies in all equities. You can see that point blank. As the worlds continue to print money, everything slowly becomes devalued based off the currencies that they're denoted in, and whether or not you think the fundamental of it should be going up, the core theory here is that the price will go up. I do want to showcase to you guys something which will give you some hopium on... Is it still not working, Wild Africa? Is the sound still not working? Can I get some confirmation or anything to know that you guys can hear what I'm saying? I turned it on, but I might need to restart it. Patrick does it on purpose to hype the chat. You're damn right I do, Beagle. Is it really not working? Oh, it is working. Okay. All right, good. Good. Now, do you see here how global liquidity is having a little bit of a drawdown here? Let's go ahead and overlay this with Bitcoin dominance. Do you guys see how there's no offset? There's no offset at all. It's a direct one-to-one correlation between global liquidity and Bitcoin dominance, going back as far as we can see on the chart, all the way back here till July of 2023. The entirety of this bull market so far, global liquidity and Bitcoin dominance have lined up pretty perfectly. There was a little bit of a period back here in the early days where Bitcoin had dropped further than global liquidity, but ultimately you can see the pattern pretty clear as day here, that we have just been riding global liquidity the entirety of this bull market as a function of Bitcoin dominance. Now, I think what's going to happen here is that we're not going to see a break of trend of global liquidity going up, but I do believe that what we're going to see is a bit of a pullback here. We're going to see global liquidity fall pretty substantially, potentially see it fall from this $85 trillion mark all the way down to 83 trillion, which would put us retesting the prior highs back here. That's what I think is about to happen. And if that is what ends up happening, then what we'll end up seeing is Bitcoin dominance, in fact, fall from this $64 area. Let's get the measuring stick. 64%, 65%, all the way down to about 61%. Now, that's not a huge fall. and it wouldn't break the uptrend that we're experiencing here at all with Bitcoin dominance. But if you overlay the moving averages, you can see it would put us right around where the 200-day moving average is right now, which would be on par with every major pullback in Bitcoin dominance. This rally we're going through right now, having a pullback in Bitcoin dominance, again, not breaking the overall uptrend of Bitcoin dominance. This is still Bitcoin's cycle, but having a retest or a consolidation period in the dominance of Bitcoin is something that lines up perfectly with this breakout of Bitcoin. So simultaneously, while Bitcoin is making, let's just say theoretically, we go up 50% on the breakout, just like we have in every other breakout. But that's honestly even too optimistic, but we'll go with it for now. We see Bitcoin rally up 50%, up to like $165,000 per coin, just like it has on the other several breakouts we've had this cycle, while Bitcoin dominance here is falling by 3%. You get to see Ethereum and some of the other altcoins here outpace Bitcoin quite dramatically, actually. You'd see, I don't know the math off the immediate top of my head here, but a 50% push here on Ethereum would put us up to $4,100 per ETH. Now, that would be maintaining Bitcoin dominance right at the same exact spot. But if we see dominance fall by that 10% threshold, you can see Ethereum going up marginally higher. So 4,500 potentially in this next leg. We might in this next leg get Ethereum to touch all-time highs, which would be very exciting for everyone's altcoin positions. Same thing with Solana. You see Solana do 50% increase from here. You're looking at putting it up above $220, $225. But you get that marginal increase, and you could get Solana here touching new all-time highs in this next leg. This next leg lasting potentially 2 months or so. So from mid to end of July, when we really get going, all the way until mid-September, end of September, going into October. And then who knows? Then we have to reassess. But that's what I believe is happening right now, is we are getting the beginning of that altcoin breakout for a period of time here. And the stars have just aligned where the dominance falling potentially is going to correlate one-to-one with Bitcoin rallying, where previously dominance has rallied with the Bitcoin rally, and we see dominance fall after Bitcoin is done rallying. What might end up taking place this rally is dominance falling while Bitcoin is pushing hard, which just means that Ethereum and the other coins here are pushing even harder. So let a man hope. There's your daily hopium. I think it's backed up by a lot of different variables here, including a much stronger economy, including a stock market, which has just flipped to completely risk on, including a lot of easing economic conditions around the world. We're seeing China having to print massive amounts of money yet again to try and bail out their real estate market, which just had the 33rd consecutive month of negative PMI growth. Yeah, that's insane, guys. Their construction for real estate over in China has been suffering dramatically for now going on 3 years. And every single time they have some sort of an issue, whether it's tariff negotiations, whether it's collapsing demand in real estate, whether it's manufacturing decline, every single time China has just continued to print money. And the people of China end up either just not having jobs because their unemployment rate is sitting somewhere super elevated, or they end up just funneling whatever extra cash they have into something that can be hedged against the slow deconstruction of their currency. It's pretty outstanding. It is pretty outstanding. Same thing happening in Canada. Canada's sitting at like a 7% unemployment rate right now, which is causing the people there to lose sentiment around their market and around their economy. And when they lose sentiment, you end up seeing inflation fall off a cliff. And when the inflation falls off a cliff, you end up seeing mass printing and mass quantitative easing. So the United States holding strong still, trying not to do that, the Fed, trying to hold steady and not print lots of money. But at the end of the day, all of the other countries around us are starting to go through that period where they just print money. So it's going to be an interesting time in the market, that is for sure. Now, with all that being said, right now we're seeing bio seemingly have put in a double bottom here at the lows of 4.2 cents. Up another 9% on the day, reclaiming $100 million market cap. We're seeing Bio try and reach up to 6 cents here. We go on to BID, which was previously in a very, very strong and sustained uptrend. We're seeing BID attempting here to hold support at that 10 or 11 cent threshold, which will be a really good area to reset the RSI, reset people's expectations, and allow for an entry price into people who've been sidelined for the last 2 months while it's made this 200 or 300% rally. It went up 386%, then it fell by 40%, give or take. And now what we're seeing is a consolidation period before the next leg with the curated launches happening. Now, I fully expect all of you guys to partake in some of those curated launches because I imagine that some of the curated launches for Creator Bid are going to get a very outsized return in a very short period of time. Now, we'll likely only be able to put like $200 or $300 into those, but I do expect some sort of a 10 to 30x on a lot of those pretty quickly because of how much attention and hype is going to be going around in that Creator Bid ecosystem. So getting in on something at a $1 million market cap and riding it up to a $20 million market cap, I do think it's going to happen for the first couple of these curated launches. And who knows? Who knows? These could end up blowing everyone's expectations out of the water. But I would have a couple $100 of cash sidelined to get in on some of these because I know all of you guys have elevated Creator Bid status due to Agent Bill. Speaking of Agent Bill, he's still just hanging out tight around this 2 cent threshold that we've been chilling at for a couple weeks now. I've been working relentlessly on a user-facing interface for everyone to be able to see the data he's collecting off these Telegram groups. So stay patient. I appreciate everyone waiting this one out for me, but getting very, very close. I had a very, very exciting time building this out. The team and I have been relentlessly pushing for this, and so your patience is much appreciated. As Creator Bid draws in attention and skyrockets, Bill will also be dragged up with that, which we talked about a couple days ago as well. The main thing I think we need to pay attention to with this one is that we maintain an elevated status in the Creator Bid ecosystem, meaning we still have a lot of bid endorsing Bill, and we can maintain some semblance of a market cap, which is in the top 10 for Creator Bid. So $400,000 market cap. If we could get this up to $1 million or $2 million in the next week or two, I think that we could actually see some crazy returns. Now that is already some good returns, but you guys get what I'm saying here. If we go look at Decentralized Science for the day, we're up 6.6%, and that was a clear indication. Remember yesterday's live stream, I believe, we saw the volume spike in Decentralized Science after we saw Binance posting that article about how bullish they are on Decentralized Science. And so the trading volume increased, and then the price of everything went up as well. Again, a lot of that being led by Bio. But we do have DeSci Sui agents moving up, even though I got absolutely demolished on that one. We got PGPT moving up 20%. We got Hydra moving up 17%. We got TIG up 15%. And then Bio, Poseidon, Senku, Cures, Cryo, all of these taking a good leap up. What's holding us back today is, never heard of that one, so probably not holding us back that much. DNA, we have Decipher Fund, we have Wellshare, we have Etika, we have Noble, but all of these not too crazy of a downward move today. But yeah, how are you guys feeling about everything? What is everyone's eyes on right now? Where's the attention in the market? Do you guys agree with my thesis here on what it looks like the market's about to line up to do? I mean, Ethereum here breaking out of a multi-month long consolidation period. I think this is setting up for a really glorious run here. Just like we saw back here when Ethereum broke out of that downtrend, and then all of a sudden 3 days went by and it went from 1,800 all the way up to 2,600. It gained $1,000 in 3 days. I think something similar is about to happen where we gain like $500, $800 in the span of a week, where we're pushing back up to these local highs. Da-da-da-da. Trust in Eric Trump. What's good, Don D? Dawn back from trial. Yes, indeed. What's good, Wild Africa? Martajin. How can we participate in these launches? I don't know yet because they have not yet released how to partake in the curated launches, but I would pay close attention to CreatorBid because they're launching V2 of the platform here in the next couple of days, potentially. They've been teasing it for a very long time, but I imagine that they just want to make sure it goes super smooth. So once CreatorBid launches the V2 of the dashboard and everything, they'll start letting us know what we need to do to get in on these curated launches. And if you have an elevated score, if you have an already existing CreatorBid ecosystem score, like right now I think mine's level 7 or something, pushing level 8, you get to have allocation into these curated launches. Now, people have done some of the math to figure that it's likely only going to cap out around a $500 allocation, which is why I'm saying set aside anywhere between like $100 to $500 for potential access into some of these curated launches. Because again, if we see it going from $1 million entry point on the market cap of this launch up to 20 million, you get a 20x on a $200 investment. That ends up being $4,000 off of something like this, which is not a crazy amount of money, but it's definitely not something to laugh at or turn your head at. That's a several $1,000s that you just get for effectively doing nothing, effectively just believing in Bill here. And we'll see. Who knows? They might launch these curated launches at $10 million market caps with the idea of it running up to a $40 million market cap. Either way, you get to double, triple, 10x, 20x your money. We'll see how it comes. We just need to wait patiently for the announcements. Let the team cook. They haven't served us wrong yet. Just let the team cook. And if we go look at bid yet again, I've already pulled it up on this live stream, but it's a fun one to watch. It's sitting back under $30 million market cap, but it's holding strong. It's holding very, very strong here. So bid in and of itself, I think, is gearing up for the next move up. Probably pushing, well, first we need to pass 25 cents, but then probably pushing up to 50 cents pretty quickly on this CreatorBid ecosystem. Sorry, brother, at the beach with the fam today. Thank you for being here, C90. We missed you yesterday, and I saw your comment. I hope you had a fun time. You can go get back to the beach. You've done your mandatory attendance for the day, so thank you, thank you, thank you. WC90, let's go, let's go. Yes, okay. What else? I have several things to talk about today, but they're not super related to decentralized science. I just really wanted to hyper fixate with you guys on the setup that the market's going through right now. I mean, Bitcoin right now, live with us today, about to break out to new all-time highs yet again. So yesterday, I was watching it as it touched 112,000, then immediately fell by $1,000, $2,000 almost. Here today, in this exact moment, we're about to see the second attempt to break to new all-time highs. Can it do it? Can we see Bitcoin break out? Let's watch live. Smash the like button. All right, MK. Mods. Put him in timeout. My voice is a little scratchy here. What the hell, guys? Why'd you sell? Who sold? I will say each time that this happens, we're starting off at higher prices, right? So yesterday when we had this move up to 112,000, it started down here at 108.5 and then got very overextended. So it didn't really have much steam to keep going. All the traders who pushed it up took those profits. Today, when it's starting at 110.6. So now we're basically at this point right here. 110. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next like 15, 20 minutes, if we do get a strong move here, for this to go up to like 114, 115,000 very, very quickly. So this will be fun. We're getting history in the making. For the first time in Bitcoin's history, we are breaking through $112,000 per coin, which is now up $102,000 or $103,000 from when I got scammed out of 0.1 Bitcoin. So now that $1,000 I was scammed out of many years ago is now worth $11,000. So that is really exciting to see. I love to see it. I'm so happy that that scammer got my Bitcoin. Make sure you guys do not send Bitcoin to anyone. Make sure you guys are very careful with what you connect your wallets to. Make sure you guys do not get scammed, as it is not a fun experience. Off topic, but how do you not have a Boston accent? Sus. Mods. Well, the reality is that I grew up next to Boston, so I did not have a Boston accent. And I think, honestly, after having spoken and lived and grown up with many people from Boston and the greater area, it's fake. It's not a real accent. They talk like that intentionally. It's a fake accent, and I'll stand on that hill. They can switch it on and off within it very easily. It's very ridiculous to hear them. They're like, park the car. Oh my God, we just see Bitcoin skyrocket up $300 in the matter of a second. Can we see a pullback? Might add some 2x Bitcoin. I think that this was the pullback. Honestly, MG, this was the pullback. It tried to break out yesterday and it got rejected for a little bit, but it held super strong. Now we're seeing the next leg, the next push. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum yesterday pushed up, tried to break out to 2800, fell, but then continued to climb because dominance was falling. Now we're seeing the same thing take place. This is a very, very quick, strong move. Not exactly what I intended on doing during the live stream, but it's kind of fun to be able to catch it breaking out live for the first time in many, many, many moons. So it's fun, guys. Pay attention. I hope you guys are ready. Like I said, last chance to buy. This is the title of the live stream intentionally. Today, we saw a picture-perfect setup for Bitcoin. A picture-perfect setup for the total crypto market. Do not think that you're just FOMOing into things right now either, right? This is a picture-perfect setup for what crypto does. Don't think you're FOMOing in at highs. You are, because you should have been buying a while ago, but we just broke out, right? We just broke out. And so if what we expect to happen does end up happening, like it has happened every single time we've seen this setup for the last 3 or 4 years, where we get a consolidation period and then the total crypto market cap breaks out. We have a consolidation period, total crypto market cap breaks out, consolidation, breakout. Every single time we get some pretty decisive moves up roughly 50%. Every time we get a consolidation period, we get breakouts that are roughly 50%. So if that is to take place once again, we would assume the total crypto market cap goes to 5 trillion, right? That should be a pretty fun time in the market. God knows we've waited long enough. It's been the entirety of this year so far that everything's just bled. So I love to see it. Let's get those moves, please. I almost went super long. I almost dropped like $6,000 on IBIT calls in the stock market. Again, you guys know what calls are, but like 2 days ago when we saw this clear setup, right? And the consolidation and then the little bit of a breakout here. So 2 days ago, I almost went like 4 grand into calls, which it's only up 3.39%. However, let's go check out what those calls are already up. I just don't like it. I just don't enjoy trading. I enjoy investing. That's where I've seen the majority, that's where I've seen all of my gains is from investing. So I just don't really enjoy the trading. But those are already up like 40%. So it would have been fun. Would have been fun indeed. IBIT being a Bitcoin ETF, right? You guys see the clear as day similarities here. Isn't this enjoyable? We'll soon, David, don't worry. You'd buy Bitcoin quick, sorry. Nice. W Beagle. Send me your Bitcoin, I will hide it for you. No, God damn it. MG, when you see and buy these, can you send us buy alerts on Discord? I'll try and be better with sending my thoughts through Discord. I don't actually end up trading on most of them. I just like observing and watching and just hanging on to my spot bags and everything, just because we're at a point in the market where I think it's too risky to be super leveraged. Doesn't mean that you can't be. I'm guaranteed there's a ton of people that just made a shit ton of money. But also, right there, as I said it, a bunch of people just got liquidated. So it's difficult to tell. But I'll be a little bit more proactive with sending my thoughts in the Discord. 112.5. Let's go. It should be a good day. It should be a really good day, guys. My spine. What's good, Vibra Finance? Welcome in. Welcome. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, let's go through some of the things I wanted to pull up. All right, so I saw that Aleta Biosciences put out their end of June 2025 progress report. So let's go ahead and skim through what they've been working on, because I know a lot of you guys have exposure to Aleta Biosciences. So June was one of our biggest months yet. Aleta EEG signal quality up 2.6x. What's good, Steve the Canadian? Welcome in. Smash that like button, you're damn right. Let's pin that message, baby. They rebrand launched. Aleta News gaining traction. Zorp UI in progress. Making waves at DeSci Berlin. PTSD partnership discussion. Here are the highlights. So they hit a breakthrough with the Aleta EEG signal quality. Their new voltage regulator arrived from EAU, and combining with the battery, we got the noise down from 1300 to 500. I don't know what that is. Nanovolts divided by the square root of the hertz. I don't know what that is, but congrats, guys. It might not even be nanovolts. I just made that up. We also upgraded Aleta EEG with custom channel settings, enhanced voltage zoom, real-time filtering, plugin support, complete DSP rebuild, and more. Good to see. New identity. We launched our complete rebrand. New look, new website, new everything. So is that the second time they've done a rebrand, guys? Do you remember when they were Happy DAO? And now they've rebranded to Aleta Biosciences, and now they've rebranded again. Potentially same name, just different look. New fascinating study reveals the link between mitochondrial DNA and bipolar disorder. And they did an X-Space with SpecTruth and Axon to discuss the new PTSD partnership. So there you go. That's good. I love to see Aleta Biosciences working hard here with SpecTruth and Axon DAO to get some PTSD studies going. We know SpecTruth once was an avid member of the cult here. Now on to bigger and better things apparently. But there you go. Good on them for joining forces to expand some PTSD treatment. A lot of people know someone who is affected by PTSD, so I support the mission full-heartedly. All right, another thing from Andreas here, talking about what if the cure for Alzheimer's already exists, but it's stuck in a lab somewhere because of slow gatekeepers, or worse, hidden for profit. We're watching promising research die before it even gets to see the light of day. This is why we need decentralized science. Speed plus transparency saves lives. If you could fast track one discovery, what would it be and why? I love the post, but he's responding here to a video of RFK stating that they already have the cure for Alzheimer's. It's just that the NIH has been keeping that cure hidden for 20 years because of corruption and fraud. That is a very aggressive claim to come out of the health secretary, the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert Kennedy. That is a very egregious claim to say, outrageous claim, right? If it's true, people better go to jail. No one's probably going to go to jail, and I think the Epstein files proved that point blank, that we do not care about holding people accountable for their actions here in the United States if they're in positions of power. But regardless, if a cure exists for something like Alzheimer's, which I definitely believe it should, we have a lot of research on Alzheimer's, understanding what it is, what it stems from, and the multiple types of Alzheimer's and how to treat them, pretty point blank. This is a big scandal. Are you bullish on SpecTruth AI? I am bullish on SpecTruth. I think what he sets his mind to, he will make happen. So I don't know enough about SpecTruth AI to say that I'm bullish on that, but I'm bullish on the person who created it, if that makes sense. So I think that he will do well. Whether or not it's through SpecTruth AI, I do not know. But if he's putting all his chips in that basket, I would tend to believe it's going to do pretty decent. Steve the Canadian here saying, I feel like the cure for Alzheimer's is protein and hydration. Since years ago, they studied thousands of old people and most of them improved with simple water and protein daily. They think we get it because we age, we avoid the basics of life. It is very interesting to see old people becoming water resistant, water avoidant, and just wanting to eat sugar because in the taste buds of elderly, sugar receptors are one of the last things that survive. Most of the other taste receptors start to die off a little bit, and the senses of smell too. And so older people tend to avoid protein, eat carbs and sugars and sweets just because that's all they can really taste. So it's pretty interesting to see. It's something we studied pretty excessively in nutrition. It's also fascinating because there's two different types of Alzheimer's, and there might even be more, but everyone just kind of lumps it all in under one category when they're talking about it, generally speaking or broadly speaking. But you have Alzheimer's, which is believed to be hereditary, and then you have Alzheimer's, which is believed to be type 3 diabetes. And so the type 3 diabetes type of Alzheimer's would absolutely be treatable and preventable and curable via editing someone's diet and improving, either from what you're saying, their water consumption and protein consumption, but it's just a type of insulin resistance in the brain which is causing damage to proteins and everything. And so it does make a lot of sense that just by fixing the American diet, we'd probably fix a lot of these chronic diseases. Go figure. Speaking of interesting findings here, I have three other things. Really, the only other things I had to bring up today were somewhat interesting to me. And I figured they'd also be interesting to you guys. But let's take a little break to look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pushed up here to 12,774, had a little bit of a pullback again, but still continuing to climb. Probably going to get a bigger pullback here based off the RSI and the fall here. Momentum's definitely dying out just a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of fall for the next 20 minutes or so before potentially regaining steam to go higher. But it is Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin gets moving, you don't want to stand in front of it. Yeah, I didn't know there were two types, but I've heard of type 3 diabetes being misclassified for a while now. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It is very, very crazy. We just keep learning more and more and more and more about all of these things. And I guess I'll go into this topic then, because you guys saw Grok 4 come out. Grok 4 replacing the anti-Semitic Grok 3 that just went on a rampage yesterday or the day before, which I believe was a publicity stunt, because everyone started talking about Grok right before they replaced it with Grok 4. Grok 4, Elon stating, was able to pass all PhD standards across the board in every subject without fail, no exceptions. Grok 4 being smarter than the threshold to get a PhD on all fronts for every subject. Pretty outstanding. Somebody used deep research here, or Grok 4 heavy, in order to come up with an answer to this. So they said, using first principles of biology, design an engineered immune cell that exclusively recognizes cancer cells as enemies, eliminates them without harming normal cells, and never becomes exhausted from destroying cancer cells. And Grok 4 went through a very robust research here to come up with kind of an outline or a pointed direction on where to go for something like this to be created. And this is what I mean when I say that the most profound use case for artificial intelligence thus far has been in the realm of biotech. You're seeing these super advanced models be able to scrape through all known research on a certain topic and put together meta-analysis in the matter of 10 minutes that otherwise would take someone years of research and studying to put together. And so I'm not saying that it's at a current state right now where these AI models could just go in and fix everything, but it's allowing for the pointed direction or the fine-tuning of our focus as humans via these models, which is extraordinarily powerful. And as we get Grok 4 to continue to evolve, we'll get it to continue to just do better. We even saw people using Grok 3 to be able to predict the effects of the longevity molecules that Pump Science was studying, and it was the most accurate model. And so Grok 4 now presumably would be even more accurate with predicting which compounds are going to perform the best. So when we open up the ability for Bill to launch on Pump Science, we'll just hook them up to Grok's API and be like, hey man, can you do some research for us and figure out what molecule we should launch on Pump Science? Could be a fun time, guys. Could be a fun time, but not yet. All right, next up was a very interesting post that I saw here from Andrew Gallimore, who I've never seen before, but he posted about a study here which showed that psilocybin was actually a very, very strong molecule for anti-aging. More on that momentarily after we check the price of Bitcoin, because that is what life is now. Ethereum not holding up quite as good as Bitcoin, but they're both up the same percent right now. Bitcoin's chart just looks a little bit prettier here. So climbing up, double top maybe? Probably not. Honestly, it's probably just consolidating for another leg up. Bitcoin dominance completely flat on the day. Solana 158. Solana not roaring as much as the other two, but I think these two are going to be capturing the limelight for a moment, especially as a lot of Wall Street's looking for Ethereum because, again, 51% of all stablecoin transactions are settled on Ethereum or an ETH2, and everyone is super fixated on stablecoins after the Circle IPO was so beautiful for them. Yeah. This thing was just such a clean run for them that they want stablecoins. Psilocybin. Dun, dun, dun. Indicators are more important when it pumps. Indicators are not important when it pumps. Yep, I agree. I feel the euphoria. Let's go, Beagle. Let's go. The hopium. So, psilocybin reduces reactive oxygen species, increases telomere length, and increases both cellular and overall lifespan of aged mice. I thought this was interesting because I love psychedelics and the longevity effects apparently. I know that psilocybin is one of those things that allows for the growth of neurons, but now we're actually getting to see that it reduces oxidative stress in the body, increases telomere length, and overall cellular lifespan, which is pretty outstanding to see, honestly, and it's not by a small margin. Lifespan extension of 28% with a variance of 0.8. That's insane. That is actually very insane. I want to see, seems like we're going to be, if this is true, it seems like we're going to be dosing on psilocybin for the rest of our lives here and be able to live to be, what's 25% expansion on 80 years? To 100 years old. We get to live to be 100 if we just trip every day of our life. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have no idea what the actual... I haven't read through the study yet, but I'm definitely going to be reading through the study. Let's go, 4bit Zam, sorry. Long time no see. Welcome in. Welcome. VaultFi did drop and lock. Goodbye, question mark. I was looking at it earlier today. Potentially. I went and I locked up all my VaultFi just because I want to believe in the mission and it's nowhere near the price I was hoping it would be at. It's definitely moving up a little bit here on the day, but it had that drop and lock. No pop, just drop. Drop, lock, maybe we pop. I would watch carefully because these are the types of patterns that get traders interested in it. And so if we just keep getting the marketing push and it just moving up and up and up and up, just to get back to where it launched at is 175% gains. So there's probably a good amount. If I know Lucas and I know the CoinRock team, they're not going to want to have not seen this skyrocket. You know what I mean? They aren't going, like, their names are tied to this. Their ego, their reputation can't handle it if it doesn't have a pop, period. So that's why I locked mine up. I'm betting that they're going to make it pop some way or another. So we'll see. Plus the APY is 700% right now. So I just keeping it in there for a moment. Let me give you guys my ref link that way, just in case you guys want to partake in it, I can gain some extra. Vault-Fi. Where is it? I have way too many things. You seen that Justin crashed out? No, but I'm not surprised. He goes through little crash out cycles. And then I go take this over here and I log in here and I connect my wallet. I confirm. I go to stake. I see I have my stake. Oh, and I already have some to claim. Let's go. And then I go to my referrals. I create my referral reward. Referral code. Hey, come on. Give me time here. All right, there's the referral code. If you guys want to partake in the Vault-Fi ecosystem, use that referral code, please. And then I can gain extra points for referring you in this large MLM. Will it do anything? I literally have no idea. I believe in the concept, I believe in the team, but it's a gamble in my opinion. 696% APY, you cannot offer that and not have some sort of a gamble, right? With that being said, if you do want to take the risk and partake in it, use the referral link I gave you. I am. Because I partook in the pre-sale. I know a lot of you guys partook in the pre-sale as well because I was working with them at the time. And so when I got the money from the pre-sale and having it been not what I thought it was going to be, I just, instead of selling it, put it right in, started locking it up to claim some of the APY. So we'll see what it ends up turning into. I think it will be an interesting ride nonetheless. And so, yeah, there you go. Let's go. Do we want to see the Justin crash out? Because when I was on his page here the other day, it popped up and I saw his new profile photo referencing the airplane dude. And I don't know what this is, but you see it pretty clearly there. I was like, it's probably good that not doing anything with him right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is quiet reading time, guys. Quiet reading time. The post. Oh my God. I'm currently driving at like 5 kilometers an hour, watering a native reserve road for their party today. Quite exciting. That is exciting. That is very exciting, Steve the Canadian. So, okay, I'm seeing a bit of a crash out. I should probably call Lucas after the live stream, see if he's okay. I have money. It's trust and character I need around me. If you choose to be around you, lets you know who you choose to be around you, lets you know who you are. Life's simple. You make choices and don't look back. Well, I think you should look back from time to time. That's definitely a good year in review stuff. I mean, everyone looks back sometimes, but good morning. Time for more truth today. He really is crashing out right now. Okay. All right, that's enough drama. It's enough tea. It doesn't impact me, so I'm just going to keep moving forward. Creator bid? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Another thing. Are you working with BCB and default? No. Beagle? No. I stopped working with them a while ago. When everyone just kind of abandoned blocks and I found myself trying to figure out how to dev blocks on my own, I just left it. It was done. It was over. And that part of my journey through crypto was also left behind, which is unfortunate, but it was also kind of foreseeable. So this crash out is also kind of foreseeable. I love you, Lucas, but it was kind of foreseeable. It just is like, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't know the details, obviously. I just know that they were going through a lot of turmoil anyways, so we'll see how it all plays out. But I have 2 more things to talk to you guys about, all right? Last one, or second to last one here, is that apparently if you let sun pass through your body, there are certain frequencies, the red light frequency of sun is going to pass through and actually help with your vision. So I thought that was super fascinating, that apparently you can literally just put your hand up to the sun and get superpowers and gain vision and actually make it so that you can see better just by letting the sun hit your body. So go stare at the sun? Question mark? I don't know. Probably not. But yes, actually in the morning, you should go stare at the morning sky before the sun is totally up. It helps with your circadian rhythm. And apparently it even works if you're clothed. So go spend some time outside every single day. And the last thing up here was an interesting little post here from Vincent, where they put all of the AI models on the market right now through some sort of tests to see where they sat on the political spectrum. Not just political, but like just on the spectrum. But yeah, all right, okay, all right, hold on. They put all the LLMs on the market right now, the major ones at least, through the political quadrant test to see where they all sat, and they all are down in the libertarian left economic theory zone. DeepSeek was the closest to the middle here. Microsoft pretty close as well. Grok, social libertarianism, closer to the economic right, but look at all these models. They're all the way over here on the bottom left quadrant, which is not good at all. Think about it. We have OpenAI, you can see very marginally right there, ChatGPT right in the center. Think about for a second, okay? I don't even know what most of these models are by the logo, but think about this for a second, right? Bear with me, okay? If you have a set of training data that you need to train an AI on, and all of that training data is congealed right in the same quadrant of that multidimensional graph that represents the training data, right? The models are going to perform poorly. You need diversity of data and training points. And I think that it would be foolish to assume that you don't also need diversity in the spectrum at which these models lay on this political quadrant graph. You need them all over the place. Otherwise, you're not getting an accurate representation and the growth is going to be stunted. A good visual acuity thing for you guys to think about is the example that everyone uses for training an LLM to be able to differentiate between a cat and a dog, right? And if you just feed it 1,000 pictures of cats and 1 picture of a dog, it's going to 99.9% of the time assume that every animal you feed it is a cat, because it only knows what cats look like. So if all the LLM models are trained in the bottom left quadrant here of this political graph, then you're going to get very skewed results no matter what LLM you're using. So we need expansion here. We need them to move to other areas. You need to feed the model 1,000 pictures of cats, and then 1,000 pictures of dogs, and then 1,000 pictures of giraffes, and then 1,000 pictures of elephants, and so on and so forth, in order to get an accurate representation and have correct models. So I think that's super important. The idea is not one-to-one respectable like that, but the overall theory here, the overall thesis, I think it would be stupid to assume that it does not convey from the data you're training the LLMs on to also the total data for all LLMs, the overall behavior of them, right? I'm sure there are people working on these, but they aren't politically correct, and so a company is scared to make something that's not politically correct. I mean, you saw what Grok just did, and it barely was in the right side of the political spectrum. If you saw what Grok did 2 days ago, and it literally just barely is inching over to the right. So we got to see what happens, but this needs to change. I think it will change with time. We'll get a quick, like a little bit of a shift over and then probably up, but they're all starting here. And yeah, that's my thought here. What do you guys think? What are you guys paying attention to right now as the market starts ripping? What are you guys into? Bill going top right. Yep, it's going to be the exact opposite. Bill will be in the top right of that quadrant. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not training my own LLM for him. We're using open source LLMs. Well, it's interesting because like I've effectively for Bill, you know how we have the Eliza OS, the operating system for Eliza, or Eliza OS, you have the framework, the operating framework for Eliza OS, which is what BioProtocol is using for their million agents fleet, is the Eliza framework. It's a conversational framework. Effectively, what I've done here with the team for Bill is create our own Bill framework. So you have the Eliza framework, we've made the Bill framework. So we've put together and created our own framework for how an AI model is to function. And then you can plug in any LLM into that framework to make it work on that LLM. And you can actually plug all of them into that framework and have them fit to different parts of that framework and parts of that agent based off of what is needed. Like ultimately, I'm calling Agent Bill like Agent Bill, right? As if he's one AI agent. But agent, like Bill is the orchestra agent, which conducts a team or a fleet of agents that's probably pushing 15 or 20 agents at this point that we've built out for Bill. So we have, like, that's going to continue to grow. Every time we need him to do something, we build out another tool in the form of another agent, and we give it to Bill to use and conduct in this master fleet. It's like he's got his team. He's got an entire company of people behind him, and Bill's the CEO, right? And he tells them what to do, and he constructs them and gives them feedback and pushes them and receives the information as requested, all on the preface that you guys want stuff from Bill. You guys want information from DeSci to help you guys with your decisions. Bill is his own agentic framework, which then is a fleet of agents that help him conduct all of the things that he needs to do. And so once we've infiltrated all these DeSci projects and gotten in there with some of the data reporting on their communities, we then give Bill another tool, which is conducting research on a higher level with the MCP servers and everything that people have been posting, especially with the biohackathon. We got a lot of open access, open source MCP servers for scientific research. even the Isaac framework, right? We could go use Isaac to conduct research on our behalf, and that adds into the agentic fleet for Bill to use in order to research things to help with these DeSci projects. So we get the low-hanging fruit, get Bill in the door on all of the decentralized science projects, and then open the door that's already been kind of cracked open a little bit to allow the floodgates to open for agentic research via Bill. But you guys have heard that spiel a million times, so I'm sure you guys are all very well familiar with it, which is why we are holding strong and steady here at $0.01889 per Bill. Gonna drag up, baby. The market's looking beautiful. And Amanda just walked in right as I was about to close out. Would you like to say anything?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
Woo!
Happy almost Friday.
Happy almost Friday. That's Bitcoin.
It's amazing.
Woo! 112,700.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Your time's your most valuable asset. Hopefully this is worth investing into. Appreciate y'all being here, and I will see you guys in